Hi, everybody. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to discuss Jupiter, which is really important because Jupiter on May 24th, we're going to have an opportunity or a chance for one, but there is a challenge, right? So Jupiter does rule opportunities, growth and expansion, and wisdom, and our higher calling, right? Jupiter wants us to move into things that we're good at. It wants to show us, what has meaning in our life. So, yeah, I'm calling this here, Jupiter will bring an opportunity if. So let's look at what's going on here with this chart, right? So we have Pisces here is the ruler of the ascendant here, or Jupiter is rather, right? Jupiter rules Pisces and it rules Sagittarius. So we have here the moon will be in practical Virgo on the 24th. So I have the time set for 2:30 a.m. So it's going to depend, for you, what time this will be happening because the moon, that will be at Pacific Daylight Time. So please check for your time. For some people, this could be late that night or maybe the next morning even. Okay, so let's have a look at this. And the moon is in practical Virgo. And when the moon is in Virgo, it wants us to nurture in a different way. It's not right. So Virgo is practical and detail minded. Virgo is about the facts and it wants to get things done basically properly. Yeah, like with precision. So here we have the moon here. So the service or the helping, kind of the assistance here, because the moon wants to nurture, right? The moon represents Cancer. It's protective, it's nurturing, it's home and family. So that moon there will be providing or nurturing, but in this kind of way where, we're helping people, we're providing service, we're assisting. And that's what Virgo is about, right? So, yeah, and we have the moon being ruled by Mercury. And let's look at that. It is right here, and we have the sun in Mercury. So there is kind of a bit of an exchange sort of here, but we have a square going on. It's a very loose square because the moon is at 14 and the sun is at 3. But Mercury is making that square. Yes, it is to the moon is making um, the moon in Mercury ruled Virgo is making the square to Mercury here in Gemini. So there is something going on with the way we communicate, the way we talk to people, the way we think. Um, Definitely. And kind of, it can also be, yeah, and right now the moon is showing up in the seventh house in the descendant, and so that is, the descendant represents, our relationships and how we communicate with others or how we create harmony and balance in our lives, right? This is also the house of opponents. So the square there is kind of saying that, that we should think first before we talk. Mercury is in its own Gemini, and the moon is in Mercury ruled Gemini. So we have to think about how we relate to others, right? And then the opportunity will be available. And that opportunity may be regarding possibly home and family, right? We have Jupiter here in Cancer. And it's showing up actually in the fifth house of love because we have the ascendant here at Pisces at 2:30 a.m. when we have this configuration. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but the fifth house, again, we're talking about nurturing, right? Cancer or home and family and things like that, our emotional roots, our emotional foundation, rather, right? This can have to do with the past as well, because here is Uranus in Mercury ruled Jupiter, and we see Mercury right here, but Uranus is asking for change the way we think and the way we think about things. And Uranus is being squared by the North Node. Well, it's probably Uranus doing the square because the North Node is not a planet, it's a point. So we have that to the first house or the ascendant here in Pisces. So we have to be kind with our words if we want this. We have to be aware as well if we want change or we want something to get better or improve, because that's what Uranus wants to do here. All right, there could be an opportunity for personal healing. Emotional intelligence, right? It's really important. I remember a long, long time ago, I gave somebody a book when I was not emotionally intelligent, right? It was somebody really young. That's funny. And I don't feel like I was entirely emotional. I mean, I was in some areas, but yeah, I remember that. That's really funny. But I mean, I wasn't that old. I was probably about 21. And I gave somebody who was, I don't know, about 18 that book, right? She's probably laughing today if she remembers that, right? But there can maybe an opportunity for personal healing, emotional intelligence, but we have to be kind or willing to be supportive. Remember, the moon, which wants to protect and support, is in Virgo, and Virgo wants to help. Virgo is the rules service, right? So there we go. And Virgo wants us to be detail-minded, so we have to pay attention here, especially with Mercury in its own sign and with that square going on, right? We have to, squares are challenges. They want us to make, it wants us to make an adjustment of sorts, right? And so we do have to be we have to be like paying attention, and that's what, Mercury rules intelligence. So there we go, right? Yeah. So and Jupiter is making a trine to Pisces. Yeah, and this is a mutual reception because Jupiter rules Pisces. Um, and and this is very powerful. Yes, it is. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's very powerful. Pisces rules our dreams, and it is right here, our intuition and our compassion. You see, so that word kind of compassion or nurturing keeps coming around, right? And we have this in intellectual kind of push for us to be emotionally intelligent here, right? But we can achieve something here, but only if we believe and if we're compassionate. Yeah, Pisces always wants to be compassionate unless there's something challenging, majorly challenging going on. And Jupiter is in caring, protective Cancer, as I was saying. Jupiter is also ruling the house of career up here, where we have a square from the moon to the MC. And this is the 10th house of career. It is the 10th house of authority and ambition, and also the roles we play, the social role that we play, and how we show ourselves to the world, right? So it is making that square to Sagittarius. It is basically, and the Lilith, look at that from the moon. So when we see that square there, it's asking us to kind of drop something about the ego or to understand yourself. Remember, the moon in Virgo wants us to understand. It wants, because it's Mercury ruled. Now look at the details, right? And so the shadow, Lilith is the shadow, and we all need the shadow so we can improve. We all need to confront it and face it and, kind of and move on, right, with our lives. So, and it is in philosophical Sagittarius, which is linked to, right? We said, I was saying down here that Jupiter is here, uh, it's in Cancer, but it is, it is ruling uh, over here where we have the AC and we have Pisces over here. And so it's also ruling that 10th house. But something has to be changed here. Yeah, something definitely has to be changed. And we actually have a Grand Cross here. Yes, we do, because we have the square from Pisces to Sagittarius. And then we have another square down to Gemini. We do. Wow. And then we have another square up to Virgo. Yeah, which is very interesting because they're both ruled by Mercury, but they're not, they're still in a square. That energy is kind of in a square because we always have this 90-degree, um, yeah, we have there, this is air element and this is Earth, but we always have this 90-degree configuration going on, whether or not it is shown on the wheel or not. We have 90 degrees forward, right, from Mercury. So yeah, that's square. So there's tension here, right? But if we are paying attention, and then we can have an opportunity here to make something better. All right. So watch out for that. Let me know what you guys think. What this could be, in your own life. All right. Thanks so much for joining me here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell. And the video for Uranus, squaring the nodes is coming out for all the 12 signs. And hit the little bell, right? I think I mentioned that if you want to get my next upload. If you'd like a reading with me, go to the description box. Um, yeah, and also the signs that are going to be mostly affected here, I mean, very clearly will be Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Virgo. And I would say Cancer as well. So there you go. So thanks so much, guys.